Good morning, everyone, and also to our professor, Dr. Grace T. Flores. Here is my report, Herbert's Theory of Motivation Hidden Theory. So we have here our objectives. Number one, explain Herbert's two-factor theory. Number two, describe the hidden factors. Number three, describe the motivational factors. Number four, explain the importance of Herbert's theory. And number five, explain the criticisms of Herbert's theory. Introduction. We have Edward Smith and Richard Clooney. Look at the two employees, Edward Smith and Richard Clooney, of two different MNCs. So we have Edward Smith does not feel motivated to work in his office. He does not feel motivated to come to the office every day and work. While Richard Clooney, on the other hand, is dissatisfied with his work. He wants to leave his present job and find another job. There was a motivation theory proposed Frederick Herbert's, known as Herbert's theory, that takes care of these two issues, motivation and dissatisfaction. Let us look at Herbert's theory in detail. Teachers are noticeably the most important group of professionals, as teachers run within the social life of school, and teaching is an inspiring occupation for all the nation and also deep focus on the development of children. So, meaning to say that pedagogic is arrangement and it cannot always be shaped by regulation. Hence, it would be disappointing to find that many of today's teachers were demotivated or unsatisfied with their jobs. Broadgate 2006, the most commonly used definitions of job satisfaction is a pleasurable, or what do you call this one, a positive emotional state, and resulting from the appraisal of one's job or job experiences. Define job satisfaction as the total cluster of emotional state and individual who had about his occupation or job. In spite of being several definitions which are related to job satisfaction have been suggested, many theories have been developed to clarify why people differ in respect to satisfaction with their jobs. Job satisfaction is not, of course, synonymous with motivation. Motivation is a process and leads to job satisfaction, one of the most important theories about motivation. And it is Herbert's and his friends' theories, Herbert's, Monsner, and Siderman in 1959 developed the two-factor theory and satisfaction. Teacher job satisfaction or motivation has been identified as being a determinant of teacher retention, teacher commitment, and school effectiveness. Numerous costs have approved as being related to teacher job satisfaction in Western developed countries, such as role overload leadership, teacher autonomy, salary, parent support, student behavior and climate, and school climate. Young 2000 besides studies have confirmed that country's culture can be source of worker job satisfaction. Sari and Iris 2002 with our references. So what are motives? So look at the picture. So there is a never give up. A motive is an inner state that energizes, activates or moves and directs or channels behavior towards goals. And we have also the clarification of motives. Motives can be classified as we have the three. First one is the primary motives, and secondary motives, and the last is the general motives. Let's take a look at each in detail. Primary motives. So when we see primary motives are also known as psychological, biological, and learned motives. The criteria for a motive to be primary are that these should be unlearned and psychological. Then the primary motives tend to reduce the tension or stimulation. A few examples of primary motives are hunger, thirst, sleep, avoidance of pain, and etc. So we have the examples no for the motives about the what do you call this one, the primary motives. Then the examples of secondary motives. The following are few examples of key secondary needs: need for achievement, need for power, need for affiliation, need for security, and need for status. Examples of secondary motives. Need for achievement. So we have the example. Need for achievement, doing better than competitors. Attaining a difficult goal. Solving complex problem. So those are the example of the need for achievement. So what is motivation? Motivation is an inferred process which makes an individual or an animal to move towards a goal. Motivation initiates, directs, and sustains behavior to achieve psychological needs. I mean, psychosociological and psychological needs. Motivation helps us to be successful in any undertaking. It is a desire or need which directs and energizes behavior that is oriented towards a goal. Then theories of motivation. Early theories of motivation, and we have another contemporary theories of motivation. So in the early theories of motivation, Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory, theory number 10 and theory X and theory Y, two-factor theory, Herbert's theory of factors, McClelland's theory of needs. In contemporary theories of motivation, self-determination theory, goal-setting theory, self-efficacy theory, reinforcement theory, equity theory, organizational justice, and the last one is expectancy theory. So those are the theories of the motivation. Then Frederick Herbert, an American psychologist, attended the City College of New York. He discontinued his studies and joined the army. As a patrol sergeant, he witnessed the Nazi concentration camp at Dachau. The talks which he had with the Germans and his experience triggered his interest and motivation. After returning from war, he went back to City College and completed his graduation in 1946. After that, he went to University of Pittsburgh to do a postgraduate course in science and public health. He earned his Doctor of Philosophy. Then next is the Herbert's two-factor theory. The Herbert's theory identifies two sets of factors that influence job satisfaction. So we have motivators and the hygiene factors. In motivators, job content factors such as achievement, recognition, we have responsibility, advancement, and the work itself. Satisfaction will prevail only where motivation exists. And for the hygiene factors, job context factors such as salary, interpersonal relations, technical supervision, working conditions, and company policies and administration. Dissatisfaction will prevail if hygiene factors. No? Then the factors theory holds that motivators and hygiene factors relate to employee satisfaction are more complex relations than the traditional view that employees are either satisfied or dissatisfied. So we have the advantages of Herbert's theory. Herbert's theory forced organizations to re-examine some of their stereotype ideas about work behavior of people, to redesign job to make job interesting, meaningful, and challenging, to ensure job satisfaction and good job performance. So we have there. Okay. I think that's all of my report. And thank you for listening. And God bless us.